what?
I'm making a cake for my birthday. And I need strawberries, sour cream, and butter.
You can take my card.
Thank you very much.
Take it. My wallet's on my desk. Take the one ending 007. You can see the number at the bottom, the small number. Afternoon all, how are we today? Hey Jeff and Jeffrey and Mario, Glenn and Idan. Glenn, welcome aboard. I'm not sure if I've seen your name before. Thanks for joining. Hope you're well. Mario, amico mio, how are you doing? Thank you for joining. Jeffrey. Somebody sent me a Shanatoa card, but I couldn't read the name. Was that you by any chance? The handwriting was so reminiscent of my grandmother's handwriting, like a Germanic kind of script writing. Was that you by any chance? Because I wanted to say thank you, but I didn't know who to say thank you to. Because we'd taken it out of the envelope and then just put the card up. And when I got to actually read it, we didn't have the envelope, so I don't know if there was a return address or something on there. Either way, I don't know who it's from. Anyway, this is where I'm up to with the pipe. Really, really loving it. It's looking awesome. Got a very slight half saddle there, like I've been doing, you know, with a curved half saddle. And that's going to be bent down a bit.
Instead of going to
Yeah.
instead of going to talk, can I get an Indiegogo magazine?
With what?
Because from the show money.
How much does it cost?
5.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to do that with Mummy, or get Mummy. I don't want you going around the magazines in the shop.
Yeah, Mummy's going to talk.
Pardon?
Mummy's going to.
Okay, if Mummy does, that's fine.
Money, money.
I'll send it to Mum.
Thank you.
Hi, Paul. How are you? Hi, Gary. How are you? Hey Texan. I assume that's what TX stands for, Texas Piper. Hey, how you doing? No, this isn't my first volcano. I've done plenty of volcanoes. Does it look like my first volcano? Does it look that dodgy? 'Very happy with that. Nice, neat button. I'm going to sand it down. Years ago. Wow, that's an early volcano. Boris, I didn't even know that you had one from that long ago. Reddish orange stem. Oh yeah, I think I remember that one. A short stubby one, yeah? A nice green, that one, I think. Hello. Yeah.
Do you have my rares in your safe?
Yeah.
Can I have them?
What, are you going to use them?
I'm swapping them with your sucker. He's got really rare ones.
What has he got?
So on a £2 coin, he's got.
Okay, I want to see them before you do it. I don't want you giving away good stuff. Okay, I want to make sure you
Can
get
I
a
just
good
tell
deal.
you, then I'll show you?
Yeah,
So
are you going with
here-
Mummy?
Yeah, she hasn't made a list yet.
I can't do it right now.
Shall I just bring them out and you can have a look at it?
You've got his ones as well?
He's here.
Okay.
Is this the right one? Okay. So this 50p, that is on a 10p. This sign used to be on the old 10p's, and that's on a 50p.
Why does that make it rare?
Because it's got a wrong thing on
Is
it.
it a mistake? Do you know that's a mistake?
No.
You have to check.
Well, none of mine have a mistake either.
Huh?
None of mine have a mistake either.
Yeah, so you just have to know that you're getting a good deal. What's next?
That Brexit.
Yeah.
I don't know what that one is though. Where is it?
Yeah. Cigar with the top out.
And the cigar.
Huh?
And the cigar.
Cigarette or cigar, yeah.
And you know the 50p is a lady.
So what's rare about this one?
I don't know, I'll probably swap it for one of my the Fire of London. I've got 3 of them. And this one, you know the lady on the 50p? It's on a £2 coin with the stick and the shield.
Depends what you're going to give. So I'd like to really look these up a little bit later when I've got time. So maybe agree with them ideally what you'd like to do, but don't do the actual deal until I've had the chance to look at them. And maybe, so let me will he let you hold on to those so that I can check them?
He said he doesn't have a lot, he's only got a few.
No, will he let you hold them for a couple of hours?
I'll take them here and come back.
Oh, okay. Alright, fine. So you
Shall
can do it
I
later.
come back later?
Yeah.
I'll tell him roughly what I'll probably do it for and see if he wants to do it.
Yeah, but you say your father has to agree at first. That's what you're thinking about. Yeah, so my kids collects. That's roughly he collects coins which are either sort of kind of rare, or if they've got some errors on them, that kind of thing. And he's got a friend who wants to swap a few, which they're genuine. But I remember from my childhood that generally speaking, if people wanted something of yours, there was usually a reason for it. So I told him I just want to check into it first.
He said you can hold on to them. Bye.
Have fun.
Okay.
Hi, Steph. Love hate, yeah, for sure. Texas. You know, you get some piece of rye which the grain is just mesmerizing. And it's those very blocks sometimes which you end up having to either throw away or just make a shot pipe out of it because it's got some issue with it, and that's very frustrating that you can't complete a pipe because it's got some issue. Funnily enough, that particular block which I made a pipe for myself out of it because it had those cracks in it. Funnily enough, the grain on it was beautiful, stunning grain on that, and as a cobra all of that would have been hidden, wouldn't have seen it except for on the base which is smooth, but otherwise it would have been hidden. So in a way, kind of a silver lining, because at least get to see some beautiful grain on that pipe. And if I wanted to be purist about it, I could rusticate the top of the bowl and hide that completely, and and I could have sold that as a perfectly good pipe, but I didn't want to do that. So you do have to have patience, and sometimes when you realize that you're losing patience, it's better just to down tool something else, either do something completely different. And for me, I'm lucky that I do have another profession, photography, which I could go upstairs and just do processing. I've always got pictures that I need to process. I'm always behind on my processing, so I can do that. Or instead, what I tend to do is I break up making a pipe. So when I'm waiting for something to glue to harden enough to cure, I can make a start on the stem. I don't like working for hours and hours on a stem in a go. So I'd rather, so this particular stem, I did the rough shaping on it and the drilling, and then I left it, and then I carried on with the rest of the pipe, and then I came back to shaping the stem. I did the rough shaping last night, and now today I'm doing the sanding and hopefully getting closer to finishing it. But each pipe maker knows their strengths and their weaknesses and adapts accordingly. So some people are happy to just get in the zone and they'll just do something, sand for hours and hours and hours until they're happy. I prefer to break it up a little bit. I mean, I'll still do the same amount of sanding, the amount of sanding that's necessary, but I just won't necessarily do it in one shot, that's all. There's the pipe. That's where I'm up to so far. Really, really happy with it. It's an unusual design, but I actually absolutely love it. It's a little bit quirky, and I've started to really just enjoy exploring different shapes and angles and viewpoints and that kind of thing. And one of the features of this pipe, which I like very much, is this little straight edge here. It's unusual. It's almost incongruous. It's kind of out of place because everything is rounded here. But there's a little, I don't know why I did it. I just did it as a whimsical, just something different. There's just a little straight edge. I mean, it's got a curve to it from side to side, but it's straight kind of. I don't know if you can see what I mean there. There's a slight hard edge there at the corners, like shoulders. And you can see a very slight line there. I just like that little feature there. I don't know why, but it's any of the pipes that I do, there's always something which to me it appeals to me. It could be a little thing which is of very little significance, like that, but it just appeals to me. Hey Arlo, how are you doing? I was speaking to Mike Bry Blues yesterday about what I've been doing in my pipes, the last couple of pipes, and kind of been doing more of a arty kind of style. It's not really bread and butter pipes. I need to get back to doing bread and butter pipes because these are kind of niche kind of pipes and they don't sell as easily, and I need to make some money, so we'll have to get back to doing some bread and butter type pipes at some point. might enjoy stuff. Oh, I just realised. I'm just looking at the icon of my channel. I've passed the 6,000 mark. Well, hey, I never knew that. So just giving it a quick buff, just so that you can get an idea of what the pipe looks like. Obviously, it's still got a lot of sanding to go there. And then I'm going to stain the pipe. There's a couple of little black dots on the base, nothing serious, but I'll try to absorb that in the staining. But overall, it's looking good. The difficulty was when I first started doing more sort of freehand shapes or unusual shapes, that they weren't executed as well. I'm not saying that they're perfect now, but there's a symmetry to them now, whereas in the beginning, oftentimes there wasn't. Thankfully, they still sold, most of them, but at the time, I didn't have enough shaping experience under my belt, so to speak, and that you really gain from doing more traditional pipes. And is down the line now, there's a big difference. And when I look at a freehand shape like that, or a free form shape, let's say, I notice that I'm still focusing on symmetry. I'm not really unless I'm doing a sculptural pipe like the chrysalis, or the color lily, something which is completely sculptural. Even that, I still have some symmetry in there, but there is it's a symmetry in a freehand kind of way. But even these kind of pipes, there's still a symmetry. There still has to be a symmetry. You do sometimes see asymmetric pipes where on first glance it looks like it's just all over the place and there's no symmetry, but there's an absolute symmetry to that asymmetry, if that makes any sense, because the pipe still has to look balanced. And anybody can make can make a pipe which is off whack and say it's an asymmetrical pipe, and plenty of people do that. But if the asymmetrical aspect of the pipe doesn't have symmetry, as contradictory as that sounds, if the asymmetrical aspect of the pipe is not symmetrical, it doesn't work. So typical, if you have a look at blowfish, asymmetrical blowfish pipes, so those are sort of wavy kind of affairs, and the symmetry is completely off whack, but it's symmetrical. If you look at it, it looks balanced. Yes, you'll have a bit going this way and a bit going that way, but when you look at the overall form of the pipe, there's a flowing form which is symmetrical. And when you look at an asymmetrical pipe where, for instance, the angle of the pipe is going one way, but then the rim goes at a different angle, an opposite angle, you still want to see a symmetry to that. So that opposite angle, you'd want to be in sync with the other angle, albeit in an opposite angle, but you'd still want it to have symmetry with the other angles. So for me, in my work, symmetry is very important. I seem to have quite a symmetrical eye, and my work generally needs to be symmetrical. That's just me. It's asymmetrical and still balanced, yes, but it's more than just balanced. I suppose you could call it that, yeah. I mean, it needs to be balanced as well, but hi.
Thanks. And also, I've got sour cream. How much did you transfer? I might start now.
How much have you used?
£6, I think.
That's plenty though.
What do you think?
Where are you going? You gonna step all the way up there? Well, maybe because you'll have it. If not, just some chocolate. Move. A move. Click. At once. Yeah. And the longer ones. The round one. Clicks.
The round one or like the right? Not the right ones.
No, the round ones.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate. Tar. Hmm. But as Mike was saying to me, is that when you do those kind of pipes, you're aiming at a more of a niche market. You've got a smaller, narrowing audience, so the chances of selling decreases, or at least it might take longer to sell the pipe. So, for instance, the calla lily, as much as I like it almost as an exhibition piece. Ideally, I'd like it to sell, but it might take time to sell. And I agonized over the price because I know that I can't really get paid for the time that I've put into it. That maybe will happen further down the line when I've sort of got more of a reputation. But at the moment, it was trying to find the balance between making it sensible where I'm at my pipe making, what people would be prepared to pay for a pipe that I've made, and the amount of time that I've put into it. So, quite a few people had commented prices that should be at, and I didn't do it at that price. I did it much less. But we'll see. So far, it hasn't sold. And it's that type of pipe which it just needs the right buyer, because it's a niche kind of type of category of pipe. There'll be one buyer out there who's suddenly sees it and haven't seen it before and think, wow, I've got to have that, and will buy it on the spur of the moment. But that could take time till that happens. It's on my website at 645. And if somebody made a sensible offer, then certainly I'll take that into consideration, of course. Watch out, Skip. Four, 2, 6. Yeah, 426. That one. I'm amazed it's still available. It's a gorgeous pipe. I would take that for myself in a shot. That's one of the things that I was saying. I've said this a few times, that it amazes me how some pipes will just go immediately, and I think when I've made it, maybe it's an unusual shape, or I could have done this differently, and I think it'll sit on the website forever, and it goes immediately. And other pipes which I think have come out fantastic, and it just sits on the website. A few of those at the moment, the 416, for instance, the horn. I mean, that one has got beautiful grain. The Church Warden 424, stunning pipe. 426 is a smoker's pipe. It's beautiful to look at. It's very tactile because of the textured finish. It's got the latest metallic bronze stem, which I made a second stem for it because I wasn't happy with the first one. And it's very, very well balanced. It's superbly well balanced, that pipe. It's got a good, generous sized bowl. You can have a decent sized smoke with it. That's a smoker's pipe. It's a pipe you'll reach for. It's not one that and it's a pipe that you're not going to worry too much that you're going to ruin it or anything like that, because it's a smoker's pipe. But it's a very nice smoker's pipe. It's a pipe you'd be very happy to go to club with, or that kind of thing, to show off. I think, anyway. I know I'm being a bit effusive about a pipe that I've made, but that's what I feel about it. If I don't feel well about my pipes, who's going to? And the same with pipe 427 with the blue stem. I think it's a gorgeous pipe, very well balanced pipe. Again, a good sized bowl, stunning grain. and they're all very well priced as well. I do my very best to keep them all under £200 as best as I can. 424 the Church Warden is over simply because of the cost of materials. You've almost got a whole rod of limited edition Sem Ebonite stem there. A stunning stem. So that's the cost in there. And there's a ring on it as well, a nice ring. Anyhow. It is a bit difficult and awkward to keep going on about stuff that you made yourself. You know, it seems a bit conceited at times, but you just, I try to be honest. I don't always want to sound like a salesman, you know. What I would say is anybody that buys a pipe whilst we're live, and rather than buy it off my website, just says to me that they want to buy it and buys it direct from me, you can knock off 10% off the pipe, assuming it's not already reduced. So if you're kind of on the verge of pulling the trigger, then now would be a good time, and you can have 10% off the price. Which pipe shells did you get? Did you get the ones that people have been showcasing, the Bizarre York Bazaar ones? Or you got something else coming? I understand you, Texan, no problem. Large display bookshelf, nice. Well, I'm hoping to be getting one for the garage, for the workshop. I've got the shelves upstairs, which I recently did a video on from York Bazaar, which I find for upstairs. But in here, because it's so dusty, I need something with doors on, or with some kind of cover. And Josh has very kindly, Pipe Rump has very kindly said that he's going to make something for me, which I'm very excited about. There he is. I think we'll have to call you Pipe Lurk. I have to start confusing you with James. because he's always there, but doesn't always comment because of he's watching it on his big screen. Josh, when you're ready and done, you let me know. We'll work something out with the shipping. Probably best to ship it flat pack, no? I mean, I don't know what style you're making it in, but if it's going to be a matter of screwing it together, it's not a problem. Are you doing a video of James's one, like a time-lapse thing of the different stages? Are you recording any of it? Cool. That's nice and comfortable. I took a COVID test actually a bit earlier on. I had a stonking headache and I've been off my pipe tobacco. But thankfully negative. Hello? Yeah. How much is the bag? Let's just get a couple of the other ones, it's fine. You can choose yourself. A couple is fine. I'll leave it to you, okay? Whatever, I'll leave it to you. Bye. Cheers, Steph. I look forward to that. What you don't realise is that this, in order to get it that wide, comes from a very wide rod. Where is it? I should have a section of it somewhere. That's a big old rod. That's nearly 30 mil. This was part of the ones that I got when I bought that job lot. But to buy those of that thickness, absolute fortune. To buy a meter length of that, probably talking about nearly £100, something like that. Absolute fortune. I went onto Sem's website a while back looking at different blocks, they've got some stunning stuff, but it's ridiculous money. Anything which is slightly different. So they do lots of different color combinations, the brindles, and they've got some amazing colors. You see some of the carvers making really beautiful stems from that stuff, but cost a fortune. I mean, you're talking about some lengths, a meter length of ebonite for 300-400 euros, and I can't afford that. The only way I could afford that is if somebody commissioned it and was prepared to pay for the materials to enable me to make that pipe. But it's a crazy amount of money. Hello?
Hello. Can Mummy have your club card and money for Tesco?
Club card is in the wallet.
Can I
It's
take
probably
it?
on my desk. And I'll transfer, yeah.
Can I take it?
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I suppose so. I'm going to see a weapon, Boris. That's the one I showed you before. And that's that one. Crazy. Well, how about this one? I use this for when I do the either right around the rim, the bowl rim. That kind of stuff is expensive, and I tend to buy that when I'm flush, when I've got a bit of spare money. I'll buy that and just have it in stock. I've got somewhere a beautiful piece of acrylic, which I've never used, but on the off chance that I do some kind of sculptural stem. Look at the size of this thing. It's got very nice markings in there, but so far nothing has materialized in that I can make something from it. But one day there will. Something will turn up, and I'll make use of this. Just you need to pick up these things every so often, just so that you've got them, so that when the inspiration does materialize, you've got something to use to make it a reality. Oh, that goes back in the wallet.
You take out the bag?
Hmm?
Take out the bag?
What?
Chocolate.
Is it all there? That's all mine? You can leave it in the bag. You can leave it in the bag. How much have you got?
You said a few.
Yeah,
I have a
right.
few.
You want to take one? Have you bought something for yourself?
No?
Just choose one.
No, I did buy stuff for myself. It's for pink.
Choose one. You share it with Ruffy and Eddie. Take something big enough.
Going to them.
Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Hey Mike. Mentioned you in dispatches a bit earlier on. I was just repeating our discussion about doing arty pipes as opposed to bread and butter pipes. Basically agreeing with what you said. But having said that, I'm still loving the way this pipe is looking. I suppose, you know, this could have been a little bit thinner, then it would have been a little bit more conventional, let's say. Even though it's unconventional because of this whole styling here, but it's kind of what I like about it is that it's wider and sort of incongruous almost. So it does lose a little bit of the balance, if you like, to the eye. Not necessarily in the smoking, but it's kind of what I like about it. Josh is the peacemaker here. No, it was absolutely true. As I said, I had that same discussion with my wife earlier that day. I hadn't actually seen the email till last night. I had a look at it. You sent it on the 10th, but I only saw it last night. And I had just that very discussion with my wife earlier on that day. And she had kind of said the same thing. She said the timing of that pipe is not exactly great because we need the money. You've got all the festivals coming up. And, you know, you need to be selling pipes, not just making beautiful pipes. They need to be sold as well. Wife getting on my case, basically. As any good wife would. Do your work, slave. I need to shut the door. Oh, it's got the hook on it to keep it open. Need to speak some truth here. I think anybody who's the breadwinner at home is basically a slave. You work. For what? For everybody else under the roof. You spend the least amount of money on yourself. Everybody else is spending your money. So what are you? You're a slave. I think that's why it's important often to have a little hobby of your own. Otherwise, you can get very dark about it. Speaking of which, how's Jar doing? Has she moved in? And how's your life changed for the better since she has? Let's speak woman to woman. Sorry, man to man. Yes, it does. It's actually very, very symmetrical because you could turn it 360 degrees and there's no deviation. Perfectly circular. The only thing determining the position will be the button and the slight bend. Oh, that's not good. I was speaking about that last night. I sent a message out on my family WhatsApp. We've got various family WhatsApps for different sides of the family groups, and I put out a message saying the indications are that it's possible that people who have already had 2 vaccines, that the effect of reducing the need to go to hospital is now starting to wane. It's starting to minimize. So people should bear that in mind, and hopefully a 3rd jab will be coming along for people. And then at the end I wrote, for the anti-vaxxers, you stick with your policy, absolutely no problem. I'm just putting it out there. You do with what you want with that information. And of course, one of the anti-vaxxers in the family had to come back with a snide remark. So I gave him one back. That's one of the cruelest parts of this pandemic, is that when it hits, the separation, that's one of the cruelest parts of it, especially during the 1st and 2nd spike before the vaccines were around. People were dying in hospital on their own, and it must have been a very sad way to go, a very stressful way to go. I don't know if that's changed now here. If somebody's in hospital and is in a very poor state, where the family members are allowed in, I don't know, because now there's much more relaxed rules about it, about quarantine. If a person's had 2 vaccines and a member of the family has got it, then they don't have to quarantine, which is a very relaxed state of play. I can see that changing. There's talk already about another lockdown here. It's only whispered and it's not official, but it's very possible that it'll happen. See you, Josh. All the best. Have a good day. Enjoy. Yeah, I don't know why we haven't started bringing out the 3rd shot here yet. I think that the elderly and the infirm should be getting it already. The vulnerable people, I don't see why they haven't started rolling it out yet. It seems odd to me. If it means making peace between you and Jar, then Joshua will be right over because he's a peacemaker. Have you got one of those ride-on? I guess that's what you're saying, Josh. I don't think I've seen the extent of your grounds. Have you got one of these sprawling yards like Onion has? From that point of view, you guys in the States are just awash with land compared to us here. We live on a postage stamp. I'm very fortunate that I've got this garage at the back of my garden. It was there before when I bought the house, and it's just luck that I've got it. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have ever got to this stage, if I'd have even thought about making pipes. Acre and a half. That still sounds large compared to what I've got. Inner city housing here in London is quite dense. It's not to say that there aren't properties around with lots of grounds, but you've got to pay an absolute fortune for that. You know, in the millions. I mean, my house, which is a 3-bedroom terrace, okay, I've put a loft on it, put another level, so it's made it a 5-bedroom, but it's a 3-bedroom terraced house, a relatively small house. When I bought it, some 26 years ago, I paid 92,750 for it, just under £93,000. And currently the value is somewhere between 800,000 and £1 million. Gives an indication of what property prices are like here. But I can't do anything with it because I can't buy anything bigger because everything costs a fortune. So the 800,000 will only get me something like this again. And unless you've got money, you can't actually move up the ladder, so to speak. Hello. I'm sorry? What time? Briar report this Tuesday. Okay. Well, you're doing a giveaway or something? Oh, there was a go. This past Tuesday or the coming Tuesday? Coming. Alright. That was such a nice pipe. Urgh. No harm done, hopefully. You know what I find interesting about briar, well, any wood really, is it can be the densest, hardest wood to work with. You drop it on any, and it hits any surface, ding, straight away. Yeah, that's a good idea. Most times it does catch it, because usually I've got my feet under the desk, and this thing is very long, and it usually does create its own little trough. So usually it would have caught it actually, but I just happened to have my legs out of my under the desk. I suppose if I was making a customized bench, having made this, put this one together, you kind of learn what is good and what is not good. Next time I'll know what to do. I'll probably do a jeweler's bench, and they have a bit of leather already tacked underneath it. You know, you have this crescent, this half circle cut into the bench, and underneath it you have this like an apron tacked into, so that when they're working on gold or diamonds or whatever, anything dropped is caught in there. So probably something like that would make a lot of sense. Hey Tom. I don't think I entered it. I'm not even sure what the score is about, to be honest. I'm embarrassed to say. Well, I'm sorry about that. I'm a naughty boy. I don't enter many goals, to be honest. Free Costello. Ooh. Was it convertible? That's the question. And Mike, as a man of influence, I would have expected by now that you would have got the Costellos to agree to make some 9mm pipes. I'm starting to lose respect for you. I thought you had influence in the piping world. A man of your pedigree, a beard as white as yours. Well, how about Radice, when they make some of their more interesting pipes, that they make those in 9mm, because they only make the boring ones in 9mm regular. I'm not talking about pipes of the year or anything like that. But the bamboo ones, sort of the faux bamboo, none of those, the spirals, not a single one in 9mm. I look all the time, whether it's on Alpasia or whichever site it is, all the 9mm are always boring. It's why I do what I do. It's the exact reason why I do what I do. I find it quite frustrating, to be honest. Their spiral shanks are really cool. They make some lovely pipes. But not 9mm. They made, for their anniversary ones, they made a couple of 9mm, it's true. But they were not really for the average pipe buyer. They were too expensive. I'm talking about the regular priced Radices, some of the nicer ones in 9mm. I don't know, Mike. They're both nice. It's the principle of it, I guess. I suppose one of each, really, if the timing is right. Yeah, no, I'm not criticizing the price, but the value's there. I don't have a problem with the price of the anniversary pipes. There's a reason why those were what they were. They were exclusive pipes. But that wasn't my criticism. It's the lower end ones, not lower end, it's not a nice way to put it, but the regular lines, you know, those between, say, 140 euros and 200 euros, hardly any of those have 9mm unless it's a basic billiard, basic Dublin, that kind of thing. Please tell me I've still some 800 grit. Right, well, don't order anything specially for me, Mike. As and when I'm in the financial position to have to get back to you. No rush. I'm gonna have to order some more 800. 400 piece here. 800. That's it. That's my 800. I need to order some more. Do they charge you more for doing that? For doing a, an order as such, even though it's a pipe they make regularly, but perhaps not with 9mm? Will they charge you more for that? Being that it's a customization, kind of. Same price. Right. Now, at the moment, it's a very costly time of year for me, so I can't really buy pipes at the moment. But at some point, for sure, it's good to know that they'll do it for you, and we'll work something out at some point, all being well. Got to be sensible. Got to rein in the pad. Okay, cool. That gives me a chance to have a look at them as well and see which one I prefer. I've still got last year's pipe of the year to smoke. I haven't smoked that one yet. I'm kind of toying with the idea of sanding that back and restaining it. The one I've got is the one with the purple Rubino, I think it's called. The purple stain. But when I look at it really closely, the grain on it is phenomenal. It's obviously it's an Ebershorn block, it looks like, and it's just got some phenomenal bird's eye and cross grain. And I could only find one small spot, although you can never tell. You can look and look and look, and then you only find it later on, or maybe even once you've smoked it, it becomes apparent. So I've kind of hesitated to remove the stain. Yeah, I would second that. For the price, Medici are great value for money. You're getting a storied Italian carving house for the price of some Stanwells, even less. Is it 4 people? Mike will know. He knows them all very well. I do have Medicis. I have Mike's Pipe of the Year 2019. They're shape 55. Smokes very, very well. I did have a billiard, which I sold. A very nice, lightweight, sandblasted billiard. And I also have the 2020 Pipe of the Year, but I haven't smoked it yet. Oh, I thought it was 2 generations, 2 of each. So it's two and a bit of Luigi. Well, they put out a lot of pipes for just the 2 of them. Do you know how many pipes they make a day? On average, or a year? And is each pipe unique? Like, is it cut on a lathe, or have they got those metal things which they put in here and cuts the shape, the basic shape? Not copy machines, but you know those machines that have like, it looks like a metal fan, which spins around very fast, and they have a lever which brings the briar block into that spinning machine, and it cuts the top half of the stumble into a shape. I don't know what those are called. Are those not called phrasing machines? Phrasing, I don't know what they call them. It's like a flapper wheel, whatever they call it, but it's in metal. I think they use those, no? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't remember what those are called, those bits. So presumably they can knock out the basic shape really quickly. Hey Ross, how you doing? I got your email, but I'm working at the moment, so I'll respond later. I see. Okay, only on the basic shapes. I mean, the spirals and the faux bamboo, all of that must take a fair bit of time, but they seem to knock out a real decent amount of pipes. So do you know what their average output is per year, Mike? Oh. I mean, Alpesia have always got a large stock of their pipes. You know, it's maybe 60, 70, 80, 100 pipes of theirs. And they do seem to get refreshed stocks quite often. And I don't know what it's like during the pandemic. I haven't really taken note of that. But all right, I'm going to give this a quick blast on the doodah. So when you do the buffing is when you kind of see the rewards of all the sanding. Except the friction creates a lot of static, so it attracts a lot of dust. So this is the unstained state. Lots of bird's eye there, and these little spots hopefully will get absorbed in the staining. Hey, there he is. Hi, James. I did a little bit of touching up on your pipe as well, James. The shaping I wasn't entirely happy with. It wasn't entirely balanced, and now it's spot on. So that's got to get refinished. If you were wondering why you hadn't got a tracking number yet, it's because I knew I had to redo that. Basically, it was slightly unbalanced, and what you'll often get with pipes is that you can tell whether a pipe maker is right-handed or left-handed. You'll often see more briar on one side than the other, and on many pipes it doesn't really matter too much because it's only a fraction. So with billiards and things like that, but on a pipe like this, because it's so acute, the angle, it was noticeable. To me, it was noticeable anyway. When I first did it, I didn't see it straight away. Your eye has to settle on it for a while, and after a few days I was looking at it again. I was basically about to stamp it and pack it up, and I was having another look at it, sort of, you know, deciding how many stars and that kind of thing, and I looked at it and I thought, no, I'm not happy with that. And so it's been sitting here for just the right time to do it, and anyway, I did that today, and it will be lighter, yes, but I didn't want to send it out unless I was happy with it. So yes, Tom, you've made that quite clear. You don't like the white bands. Like I said, it's horses for courses. Everybody has their preferences. Yeah, I agree that the size of this central area is unusual, but for me, that's what endears it to me. It's different. It's not sort of so wacky out of thing that it looks completely ridiculous, but at the same time, it stands out. It's unique. So I actually really, really like this pipe. I try to like all the pipes that I make, obviously, and hence I'll spend the time on it until it does look the way I like it to look. And I hope that somebody else will have the same kind of taste by the time it's finished. That's one of the saving graces, I guess, is that if a pipe eventually ultimately doesn't sell, then I can always keep it for myself, and I'll know there's a fair chance that it's a pipe that I like, because when I make them to suit my preference most of the time. And that would be very cool, James. I've still got your beehive tamper, but I think I've used it, so I don't think I can really send it out. But that would be cool. If you do, James, when you do the beehive, the other end is just a straight pole, isn't it? Because what I'd like to do is put a handle on it of the same material as this, so that it would kind of match, you know? So I would do is drill a hole in the rod and glue it on the top of it. I might do some shaping on it as well, but essentially I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's just something like that, isn't it? Yeah, the handle part of it. I'm not sure where my one is of yours. Is it down here? I think it's upstairs. Cool. Thanks, James. Very nice of you. Thank you. Don't usually go this high. This is 1200 grit. I'd already done 800, so I thought I'd just go up before the staining. I'll go up even higher. So this is really, really, really smooth. And hopefully, when it's finished and buffed and polished, you'll be able to see the difference. I don't usually go beyond 800. I usually get a really nice finish with 800, but we'll see. If it makes a huge difference, then maybe I'll do that in future. Ah, yeah, caught it. My skirt caught it. What I've noticed is the difference between, no worries, seriously, the difference between 400, which I know a lot of the English carvers, they stop at 400. But the difference between 400 and 800 is that I find that when you send out a pipe which has been sanded to 400, which is very smooth, 400 is really nice and smooth, and then you buff it with your carnauba wax or whatever, and it's really nice and shiny. After a couple of smokes, that wax is gone. You end up with a pipe which has got more of a matte kind of look to it. When you go up to 800 or 1000 or beyond, once that wax is gone, it's still a very smooth and shiny pipe, because the actual wood is glossy without the need for any wax. So I definitely, I mean, going back to at least a couple of years ago, I was stopping at 400, and I've steadily increased, and I've gone to 800 now. I was doing 600 for a while, and I now routinely do 800. Yeah, you have mentioned that before, Mike, about damp sanding. I have damp sanded. I used to damp sand stems, and perhaps I should restart that, because but it's so messy. But yeah, I probably should restart that. It would probably save me time, sanding time, because it does produce a nice finish. I do know that. I've done that before. I used to always do it wet. Let's put it this way, Mike. I always hear you. Whether I listen to you or not is a different matter. That's when I talk to my family about COVID. It's the same thing. I can give you the information. It's up to you what you do with it. Also, I've done this sort of curved rim. I don't do that very often, but it kind of matches the curve at the bottom, and I think it works well. It's slightly canted, as you can see there, but the overall shape, absolutely loving it. So let's get to some staining. Why don't you go to 1200 though? Why to make it even shiny? Yeah, so this is it is 1200. The last one I just did now was 1200. But I don't routinely do it because I'm very happy with the results at 800. But maybe I'll do that. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on the result and see how that works. And if it's worthwhile, then I'll do that routinely. Boris, I think it's just you. You need to refresh. Open wide. Thwack. Oh, it didn't thwack. No, these are the cheapy ones, I guess. Leaving a bottle of this open is not wise. Especially when you're going to have a flame going. Here you go. Right, that's the staining done. And we'll leave that for now. It'll all get another buff later on. And hopefully we'll bend the stem and reveal the pipe some point this evening. It might actually be late because I've been booked for a last minute engagement party, so I'll be going to work in a few hours. So for now, I think I'm gonna. Yeah, that's interesting. You got one way of looking at it. I'm gonna carry on with James's pipe. Try and get that finished tonight as well. No, I'm gonna finish yours, James. Oh yeah, that's absolutely. It will change big time. You know, it could end up looking like that, although it'll probably be more. It's a bit covered in dust, but that kind of idea. Probably a bit lighter than that. You're sending Tree some tobacco. Excellent. Or are you sending it to me to send to him, or are you sending it direct? Yeah, no worries. Very nice of you, James. Very nice of you. If you rather send it to him direct, I can send you his address. That way, when he appreciates it, he'll appreciate it undiluted from you. Wessex Gold Virginia Flake. Is that the one that's in the block, in a cake, in a cellophane? Or is it in a tin? a flake. I don't think so. Can't say 100%, but I don't think so. Yeah. Well, the red one might be here actually. First, let me weigh James's pipe. It's just to make it level. $37 grams. Cheers, Mike. Have a good one. Might have taken off 1 gram. I said the same about the sunbear. I always get a birdie flavour, and I don't think there's any birdie in there. Right, I think that's it. Right, everybody, we're almost in 3 hours, so it's nice to get back on a live. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for spending the time. And perhaps I'll get on later on tonight and finish off the pipes, perhaps tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how the day goes. But for now, I will say thank you for joining me and catch you on the next one.